Are you tired of being average? Are you tired of waking up and doing something that you're not passionate about every day? Are you tired of where you are in life and always looking around, comparing yourself to other people, wondering why they are somewhere you want to be, but you are not there yet? Well, if you're one of those people, this video is for you, because I am about to show you how to go from average to savage in a very short period of time if you're willing to commit and dedicate yourself to a new way of living life. My name's Matty and I help people get out of survival mode and go into success mode, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. That being said, let's get into this video. Now, like I said, I imagine for a lot of people out there that currently you may not be where you want to be. You may be focused on a lot of things and a lot of problems, and you probably live paycheck to paycheck. You make what you deserve currently for where you are skill-wise, but you believe that you deserve to make a lot more than what you're making. And the truth of the matter is that you are where you are because of what you've done. And what you choose to do is going to get you somewhere, and it's going to get you something new. So that being said, I feel as if the first step that people fail to make is, one, when you want to move from average to savage, that shows me that you have something deeper within yourself that you are trying to discover and trying to transform into. And that's a beautiful thing. But a lot of times we let that little voice get into our minds, and before you know it, we allow the realities of life, or our perceived realities of life, to take over again. And we decide to sleep in. We, instead of wake up and go to the gym nice and early to start the day, we always have an excuse as to why we can't or won't do something, when in actuality, it's just a choice because you don't really believe in yourself or you don't want it bad enough. And the crucial part about going from average to savage and creating an above average life for yourself, being the person that the people in your friends group don't really notice as much as they used to, is going to take you transforming your mindset. And one of the ways to do that, one, write this down. You need to read the book, Your Erroneous Zones. Your Erroneous Zones is one of the most incredibly impactful books when it comes to looking at your life and looking at yourself. Because a lot of people have, trauma and struggles that they grew up with that they've just come to accept and adopt as who they are. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, it is your truth currently, so, that makes it what it is. But it is not the truth. The truth is, we only have this moment right now that we're in. The truth is, I'm only outside. The truth is that I'm under this tree. The truth is, last week doesn't exist unless it's in here, and also in here, because if you feel it in here, you're going to feel it in here. And what people don't realize is when you start thinking a certain type of way, let's say you start thinking about all the odds that are stacked up against you, you start thinking about all the ways something can't work out for you, you start to feel as if that is your reality. So even though nothing's changed, even though you are still like myself, let's say, underneath this tree while it's raining out a little bit, you are starting to feel into your existence something that doesn't exist. So if you continue to get up day after day and you continue to feel this way, how do you expect it to change? I know it seems wild to say, but your mind truly does create the reality that you live in. The problem with people not believing this is that they get caught up on what they can see. They don't give reality enough time to catch up. Just because you make a positive change in your life doesn't mean the next day everything's going to change. You inherited these sets of beliefs that you are going to be trying to work yourself out of, going from average to savage. An admirable thing, but also something that's going to take you a long time to do. I mean, Not to say it can't happen in a few short months if you really dedicate yourself. I imagine, and I've seen a lot of people and prospective clients of mine go from, let's say 0 to 100 over a course of 90 days. But it's important to understand that that's not going to be everyone. But maybe it could be you. It really depends on how bad you want it. And that's what's going to make it work. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about in going from average to savage is that if you want to see something change, you yourself have to change. I gave you the recommendation of Your Erroneous Zones by Dr. Wayne Dyer, an incredible philosopher, an incredible book. The second one of his list you should check out is The Power of Intention. But then there is another book you need to read. And yes, there is going to be some homework you have to do. Book reading you have to do. You're going to have to morph into someone successful. You got to get out of that way that you've been in for so long now. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, a man that dedicated more than 20 years of his life in studying how people in this planet, in this existence, became incredibly rich and successful no matter their background. Andrew Carnegie, the just prominent figure in the steel industry as to why we have what we have today for steel. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, so many other names. In that book, you will see that all had live interactions with Napoleon Hill as he studied and shared over 20 years of documented research on how people became incredibly successful and wealthy. And I'll tell you, the book, the first time I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. And you may be the same. You may be the same, especially if you're really, really wanting to make a change here. So those two books, Your Erroneous Zones, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, you can either get the original copy or you can get the kind of like refurbished one, which is also very good. And then next, you're going to have to take your health a little bit more serious. There is no savage in this world that is sitting on the couch, binge watching Netflix and YouTube videos, watching live streamers, watching short form content and brain rot that is successful. It just doesn't happen. If you want to be a savage, you have to be in a separate class. You have to move out of average. You've got to stop complaining about a lot of the things average people complain about. Every average person complains about the weather. They complain about waking up early, going to a job that they hate, but then they talk about having to stay there because they can't go get another job somewhere else. They've been in that one too long, yada, yada, yada. All these excuses to keep them exactly in the same position they claim that they want to get out of. They don't want to get out of that position. They love where they're at. They're afraid to admit that they love where they're at, because if they were to do that, deep down inside, there's still a part of them that is disappointed, that feels like they know they didn't give it all they had. They know that they still don't believe in themselves. That's what keeps a person average, ladies and gentlemen, kings, queens, in-betweens. It's not the fact that you weren't brought up in a certain area, location. It's not the fact that you have X amount of money in your bank account. It's not the fact that you may have experienced childhood trauma or any list of things. It's the fact that you don't believe in yourself. And the only way to start believing in yourself is by becoming a new version of yourself. You have to kill the old version of yourself. You have to become a new version. You have to become a non-negotiable person. You have to write down exactly what you want and what you desire, down to the number. If it's money, if you want health, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? What is that target rate, percentage of body fat? All these things tie in to the vision. And like I said earlier in this video, when you start to think certain thoughts, that impacts how you feel about said thoughts, and how you feel is going to set out the frequency into the universe that is going to attract into your life. It's not science, but it is science. Luckily for you, it's simple, and you're getting advice from someone who's done it. So if you follow some of the steps in this video, you will indeed go from average to savage, but you got to stay the course. You got to be present-minded. And you get more present-minded the more that you put yourself in the present moment. So when you start to feel your thoughts run away, that's okay. It's normal. You may not be able to control the first thought that comes into your mind, but you can control the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth thought that comes after it. The best thing you could do is start to become an observer in your life when it comes to your thoughts and how you feel. rather than be the person saying, oh, I am not feeling this today, I do not want to do this today. Be the person that takes a step back and looks at yourself as, you would give advice to a friend, let's say, because we can all do that. We've all been there, right? You can give advice to a friend on what to do, how to get out of any situation. But when it comes to yourself, even if it were the exact situation, you would not be able to give yourself advice. And it's because deep down, you are still getting caught up in what you believe is possible. And unfortunately, whenever you set limitations in your life, you're always going to meet those limitations. But that's how the name of the game works. When you become a non-negotiable, unlimited thinking person, because in the words of, I believe it was Michael Jordan who said it, made famous for it, because fears like limitations are often just an illusion. They are. Fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. You make it real because you're thinking about it, then you're feeling it. Now it feels real. There's people in here 30, 40, 50, 60 years old still afraid to go do something because when they were a little kid, they got scared of heights. People that are afraid that won't leave the country because they can't get on a 10-hour flight. There are so many things in here that can be broken down if you're willing to just demolition your original self, in a sense. When you want to get a house ready to sell, what does everyone do? Everyone knows you remodel the inside, you do a little demolition, you change the paint, you do all these things to the point where now when you wake up and you're ready to make a sale, it's almost like you don't want to leave the house because you created the house into what you wanted all along, but you just didn't have the drive to do it. And now you're like, man, wow, this house actually looks really beautiful. Now I don't know if I want to sell it. And that's just kind of the funny way that people are, man. But at the end of the day, without rambling, without ranting, without going too far away from, going from average to savage, it's important to remember those key fundamentals. 1, you need to become a non-negotiable person. 2, you need to know exactly what it is that you want. And 3, once you find out those first 2 things and do those first 2 things, then you can start to create a plan to get your desire. Like I said, it's going to take some work. It's going to take however much work you want to put in. It's going to take a lot of effort and discipline. And discipline is the thing that's going to keep you going when motivation isn't there. When you're on your, let's say, 70 out of 90th day of eating healthy, going to the gym, of putting in more work before work and after work to try to create a better version of yourself by creating a better version of your life. Discipline is going to be there when motivation isn't. So I know that it may hurt where you are now. I know it may hurt with who you are right now. I know it may hurt for you to admit a lot of these truths about yourself. But that's the step 1, is admitting. And they say that in AA meetings. They say that in a whole lot of development. You got to admit to yourself. You got to accept accountability. We are where we are because of what we've done. But we can get to where we want to be by doing something new. So that being said, take down some of these philosophies that I shared with you in this video. Write them down in a self-help notebook. If you don't have one, go get one. And I also have them available on my website that I'll link into the bottom of this chat with a couple other merchandise and apparel things if you guys want to take a look. But there is a self-help journey in there with my little 2 cents on the back, a real helpful message for those days that are a little bit challenging. But just know that you've got this. Know that you are amazing. Know that you are strong. And you watching this video, especially if you watch it all the way through, you want to go from average to savage. You want to go from low-level life to high-level life. And the good news is you can do it. I'm here to help you. And all you got to do is subscribe to the channel. Come back every Tuesday and Thursday to catch some of these videos and apply what you hear into your everyday life. And over time, you'll begin to experience the change. You'll be able to feel the change, and you'll be able to see the change. But seeing the change always comes last. Just remember that. You got to feel it in order to reveal it. That being said, thank you guys for tuning on in. It's been an honor and a pleasure sharing how to go from average to savage. Go out there and make today count. Make it worth it, not worthless. But you got to believe and put the work in, baby. That being said, my name's Matty Pace once again, saying one life, one love. I'm out, baby. You're built for this.